today we're just going to review some stuff for your test on Friday. Make a note right now that you won't have a live lesson Friday. We won't meet Friday at 10 because you have your test. So I'll unlock your test in the morning, and then you can go ahead and get started on it whenever you're ready on Friday. There's nothing really for us to Zoom about then. Now, if you need individual help, of course, I'll be there to help you when you need it. So what we're going to do is kind of review some stuff. After your Zoom today, I'm going to unlock your assignment, which is review of all kinds of division. What we'll do now is kind of review some of each lesson so you're ready on Friday and you're ready for today. So the first thing I want you to do is write the reciprocal of 1/5. Write the reciprocal of 1/5 on your paper, your journal, or in your head or whatever. The first thing you're going to have to do on today's work and on your test on Friday is to find reciprocals. And you guys should know how to do that now because you're doing it with every problem. So the reciprocal of 1/5 would be 5/1. If you just put 5, I would accept that too. So if you put 5/1 or just 5, that would be correct. Okay, if we had something like 2/3, the reciprocal would be 3/2. Some of you are forgetting to flip that fraction, and it's not because you don't know how to do it. It's just not second nature to you yet. So just remember, you always flip your second fraction. So this is called the reciprocal. Reciprocal. All right, do the reciprocal of 6/9 for me. Do the reciprocal of 6/9. Braylon, you have a question?
But on 2/3 over 3/2, wouldn't that equal to 1 1/2?
Yeah, but remember when you're dividing, you don't do that because you can't divide by a mixed number. You can only divide by a fraction. So when you're in the middle of the division, your reciprocal would be like this. The answer you would change over. Okay. And we'll do some like that where I'll show you. Okay, so reciprocal of this one would be 9/6. You guys have these. Now I want to look at one like this with you because you'll have one today. If I gave you 1 3/5 and I asked you to find the reciprocal of that, to find the reciprocal, you need to make it an improper fraction, then flip it. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8/5, and then the reciprocal, I'll just put R, would be 5/8. Okay, so if you get a mixed number like that, your first step is to change it to an improper fraction. Then your reciprocal, you would just flip that fraction. So if I gave you 2 2/3 and I asked you for the reciprocal, I would do 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8/3, and the reciprocal would be 3/8. Okay, so just make sure that when you're doing a mixed number like that, change it to an improper fraction first, then flip it to the reciprocal. Okay. Okay, so then let's look. What you'll have to do today is just a mixture of division problems. I think there's like 11 problems to do today. So I'm going to give you some to practice and I'll do some with you. If I gave you one like 9 divided by 3/5. Okay, the first thing I would do is make 9/1. I rewrote it because my lines are kind of connecting at the top. So I put 9/1. Then I'm going to say 9/1 times the reciprocal. Remember this number right here that I circled is the one you flip. So if I flip 3 over 5, I get 5 over 3. Then that's where I can reduce and multiply. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I can cross reduce there. Can't cross reduce 5 and 1. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 1 is 1. And remember, we just leave that as 15. Okay, so a problem like that, that's how you would do it. Put 9 over 1, then flip the second fraction to 5 over 3. See if you can reduce, and then multiply. Those are kind of the ones we started with, I think. Those are the ones you are pretty well versed with already. So let me do 3/8 divided by 6. The first thing we want to do is put 6 over 1. Okay. Now, some of you go ahead and write it like that, and that's fine. I'm just going to show you each step individually. Then I'm going to say 3/8 times the reciprocal, which is 1/6. So I've flipped 6 over 1 to 1/6. I can cross reduce here. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I can't do anything with 1 and 8. Multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 2 is 16. So you get 1/16. Okay. Make sure you put your 6 over 1. Any whole number always goes over 1. Then you flip it if it's the second number to multiply. Some of you are still not reducing. You have to reduce or it's wrong. Okay. When I look at the key in the book, it doesn't give me this answer then reduced to this answer. It only gives me reduced answers because that's how they're supposed to be. Any fraction should always be reduced as small as it can be to be correct. Try this one on your own, and then I'm going to do it with you in a second. 3/10 divided by 3/5. Okay, do that one on your own. That one's a pretty simple one. You don't have to change anything. All you do is flip 3/5. See if you can simplify what you can and multiply and get your answer. Do that one, and then I'm going to go over it with you in just a second. This one should be a pretty quick one. Okay, so then first thing we do, 3/10 times 5 over 3. These are the kinds I like because you can reduce all the way through. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 2. So we get a half. And that one's it. So remember to try to cross reduce. It's going to save you a whole lot of trouble because at the end you won't have to figure out what to reduce by. It'll all be done for you already. You can carry this with you into next year too. You can do it with regular multiplication with fractions. All right, I'm going to give you a harder one. It's bigger numbers, and it's what we did, I think, yesterday. So I want you to try 14 and 2/7. Oh, wait, hold on. Don't do that one, sorry. It's in your book as multiplication. Don't do that one. Do 6 1/8 divided by 1 3/4. If you're wondering what page I'm on, it's 232. You don't have to be there because I'm going to write it on here. but this is just the check your progress review. Do 6 1/8 divided by 1 3/4. Now remember, the first thing you're going to have to do here is change each fraction over to an improper fraction. They're mixed numbers right now, so just change them over to an improper fraction. Then you just do it like regular. Flip the second number, simplify, and multiply. If you can do this one, you can do all the others. This one basically takes all of the steps we've done and puts them all together. We give you one more minute to try on your own, then we're going to do it together. One note I want to make real quick while you're working. The yearbook order forms are on the website. If your parents don't have Facebook, they might not have seen it, and I'll try to remember to post on Dojo. If you go to the Timmerman website, the yearbook order forms are up, and you can order online this year, and just your parents can pay with their credit card or debit card online. I don't know how they're going to be delivered or anything like that, so we'll have to see about all that when it gets kind of closer to. You might pick them up the day you deliver your books back to school. I don't know. That would be the smartest thing, I think. But it depends on when they get delivered to the school. So just make sure you tell your parents if you want a yearbook to go online and get it on the Timmerman websites where you can order it. And then information about book fair, and I think all that should be going home soon as well. Because Friday is May 1st, which is crazy. Then we only have until May 21st. That's it. All right, let's do this one together. So 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49 over 8. So I'm taking these mixed numbers and making them into an improper fraction. Then 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7 over 4. I'm going to kind of write that over here. So that's it when I change it to an improper fraction. So down here, I'm going to say times the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 7/4 is 4/7. This is the easy kind to reduce. Now, if you're not reducing like this, that means that you're doing 49 times 4 and 8 times 7, and reducing that is going to get a little harder. So if I reduce it this way, 7 divided by 7 is 1. 49 divided by 7 is 7. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. That makes it a lot easier. Now I can do 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 1 is 2. Can't leave it like that. Please, please, please make sure you know you can't leave it like that. That's where you go. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 1 is 1. 7 minus 6 is 1. That equals out to 3.5. Okay? That would be your final answer. Now, these have a little bit of work involved to them. They're not as short as some of the other ones. Just make sure you're getting every step. And I'm going to let you use your notes on Friday's test if you need it. So if you need to look back in your notes for the test on Friday, you can do that to help you out. I'm going to give you one more to try, and then we'll talk about science. Most of you have done science today already. Do 3.5 divided by 1 3/4. 3.5 divided by 1 3/4. Same as we just did. You're going to have to change each one to an improper fraction. Then you're going to do the reciprocal, reduce, and multiply. This should equal out to a whole number at the end. Double check and make sure you have a whole number at the end. All right, let's go over this one together. Need to make it into an improper fraction first. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So 7/2. Now if I look at this one, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7/4, and that's the same one we just did. So to multiply that, I put 4/7. These are the good ones, remember, because you can just go through and simplify. 7 here turns into a 1, here turns into a 1, because you're doing 7 divided by 7. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1, which equals 2. So that's your answer. So let me run through real quick what the rest of our year kind of looks like with you before I talk about science stuff. Friday, you'll have the test, and if you came in late, make sure you jot down that you won't have a live Zoom lesson on Friday because that's your test date. On Monday, we'll start our next lesson. I'm going to ask Mr. Robbie kind of what he thinks we should do, because the goal for the last couple weeks of school is to get you ready for stuff you'll need to know next year. Because when you go to 6th grade, you're going to have to know, and you'll have Mr. Robbie for that math class. So I think he's going to tell me to go on to decimals. So we'll probably move on to decimals. We'll probably skip the next chapter with graphs, just because you guys know that. We've done it a million times. You guys know how to do like the tree diagrams. We did that when we did testing review. You guys know how to read bar graphs, circle graphs. I really don't think we need to do that. Decimals is going to be a lot more important. So we'll probably move on and skip chapter 7 and go to chapter 8. This one, we've actually done a lot of this already too with testing review. So a lot of it should be pretty much already kind of in your head, and we'll just kind of do lessons with it. Decimals is really just money if you think about it. Adding and subtracting decimals is the same as adding and subtracting regular numbers. You just have to bring down the decimal. So we'll do a little bit of place value first to learn the values of each number. Then the adding decimal is honestly just like money without the dollar sign. We'll do some subtracting, and then we might go into, if we have time, some adding and dividing decimals. And then once we do that, you guys are going to be set for next year. I've already bragged about you to Mr. Robbie, and he's excited for you because I said I don't want you guys to leave me because you guys are super smart and awesome, and you always do what I tell you to do. And I don't want you to go to Mr. Robbie next. I want you to stay with me. But unfortunately, I guess we can't do that. So next year, you'll be ready for Mr. Robbie's math class for sure. You guys are awesome. You guys have been doing all of this so well, and you guys know exactly what you're doing. So let me talk to you about science real quick. Science today, you're doing the Bill Nye video. I want you to watch it all. Don't just watch 5 minutes of it and say that you did. Watch all of it, and then I want you to tell me something new you've learned. It goes into a little bit of different stuff with minerals, the soil composition and stuff like that. They had a pretty cool part about diamonds in it. Just watch that. I wanted to kind of give you an easy day because you have been doing a lot of work with science. So it is still a homework grade for you to tell me what you learned from it. Tomorrow I'll send out your study guide, and then let's go ahead and plan for science test on Tuesday. That's a week from yesterday, and if you give me just a second, I'll tell you the number date for that. It's going to be Cinco de Mayo. It's going to be 5/5. So next Tuesday, we'll have your science test, and it's going to be the rocks and minerals. I'll give you a study guide tomorrow. This one is going to look a little bit different because I don't have the file for the test at school. I have the test, but it's actually in the teacher edition of the science book, so I can't really kind of copy it because it's like that big. So I'm just going to kind of type up the questions, and you might get out a little easier because if there's any diagrams, I won't give you any diagrams on that because I can't really type that part up. So it'll look a little bit different than normal. It'll be the same questions as you normally would have, the same type of questions. It'll just be me typing it up instead of a copy from the actual science manual. So we'll do science test on Tuesday. Everybody did really well yesterday on the vocab part of it. I think this is a pretty simple lesson. With that, we'll move on next Wednesday to our last chapter, and that'll probably take us till the end of the year, and I think it's weather. So I'm going to unlock your math right now, and I'll let you get started on that, and I'll write on here what it is. Just a second. And if you have your hands raised on here, I'm going to go through in a second and call on you. And I'll get your questions before I unmute you. So 5th grade math is going to be, it's loading, give me just a second. Page 234, numbers 13 through 24. Okay, that's math. So that's today's assignment. I'm going to unlock it. It's due tomorrow at 4. Go ahead and try to do it today, though, because it's a lot easier to do it now than to get behind. I'm going to go through and see the people whose hands are raised, and then after I get through that, I'll unmute you if you have any questions. And then if you don't have any questions, you guys can actually go and start working if you want to. We're not going to do any more of the actual, any more class. Tasia.
So for the yearbook order forms, so we go onto the Timmerman website, like.
Yeah, let me write it down for you. It changed. It's not timmermanschool.org anymore, but if you go to timmermanschool.org, it'll take you there. They changed the actual website. It's the road, the number to success. It has 2 C's. Hold on just a second. .org. The road to success.org will take you to the Timmerman website so you can get your yearbook order form. It's the road number 2 success. If you go to the old website, it'll link you there. This is just a little bit a quicker way.
And
yeah.
for the what do you call it? The drop off for the books at May 22nd. Does my mom have to contact you to set up a time?
They haven't told us yet. I think what I'll do is try to do like we do for conferences where I have time slots and you guys sign up. Maybe a Google Doc. If you guys don't know what a Google Doc is, my hairdresser actually sent me one the other day. And it's a document I can make in Google and I can send it to you and you can fill out parts of it and then everybody can see other people's times. So you can fill in your time and see other people's. So we'll see. I have to kind of wait for Mr. Robbie to tell me what to do. But I think that you sign up for a time and then you would just come during that time to drop it off and clean up your locker and stuff.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to unmute you guys if you have any questions. Christian, I know you have one.
Yeah, right now it said for the Shobi that you posted it yesterday. Like every time that it does Shobi, it says whenever you post something like just a minute ago, it says that you posted yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday is when I made the assignment and then I lock it. And then when I unlock it, that's when you get to see it.
Okay.
I always do it the day before at night.
All right. Bye.
All right, does anybody else have any questions?